The two worlds of money. Picture this. A family steps onto a private jet for a weekend getaway. At the exact same time, another family is checking their bank account at the grocery store, calculating whether they can afford everything in their cart. Two families, one country, two completely different worlds. And here's the question that keeps echoing across kitchen tables and coffee shops. Why does it feel like no matter how hard most people work, they're always just getting by? While the rich seem to multiply their wealth overnight, this isn't just bad luck. It's not just how life is. It's the story of wealth inequality, the growing gap between the haves and the have-nots. And today, I want to unpack it in plain language, why the gap keeps getting bigger, what it means for you, me, and our children. And most importantly, what you can actually do about it, because complaining won't close the gap, but strategy will. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why the gap exists, but you'll also have a personal roadmap to step onto what I call the golden path to wealth, the reality of the gap. Let's start with the facts, because they're hard to ignore. Oxfam reports that in recent years, the richest 1% of people captured nearly 2/3 of all new wealth created worldwide. Think about that. Billions of people are splitting 1/3 of the pie, while a tiny slice of humanity is eating the rest. During the global pandemic, while many families drained their savings just to keep the lights on, the world's billionaires collectively increased their net worth by trillions. Meanwhile, people like teachers, truck drivers, and nurses, the backbone of our society, were falling behind financially. Now here's the catch. This gap isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about power. Wealth equals choice, freedom, influence, and stability. Lack of wealth equals constant stress, limited options, and a life where one emergency can throw everything into chaos. Why the gap keeps growing? So why is this happening? Why are we seeing this divide get wider and wider? There are 4 big reasons. 1. Compounding returns, the snowball effect. The wealthy don't just work for money. Their money works for them. And the tool they use is compounding. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Imagine you plant a tiny seed in your backyard. The first year, it grows into a small tree. By the 5th year, that tree produces seeds of its own, and suddenly you have multiple trees. By the 10th year, you have an entire forest. That's compounding. Warren Buffett is a prime example. He's been investing since he was 11 years old. Today, he's worth over $100 billion. But here's the crazy part. 99% of his wealth came after his 50th birthday. Why? Because once your snowball gets big enough, it rolls on its own. Now compare that to the average worker who might not be able to invest at all until they're in their 40s or 50s. Because earlier in life, every dollar was needed for bills. They never get the time for compounding to really work. 1. Access to information and tools. Let's be honest. The wealthy aren't playing the same game as everyone else. They have financial advisors, accountants, and access to exclusive investments that you'll never see in your 401k. They get inside invitations to early-stage startups, private equity, and real estate syndications. Meanwhile, most people are Googling best ways to invest and trying to piece things together from TikTok clips or blog posts. It's not about being smarter, it's about being better resourced. Think about it like this. You're playing Monopoly, but they get to roll 2 dice while you're stuck rolling 1. Who's going to make it around the board faster? 1. Policies and systems that favor wealth. The rules of the game are tilted. Tax codes, inheritance laws, and corporate loopholes are designed in ways that protect those who already have wealth. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and other billionaires have had years where they paid 0 federal income tax, and it was completely legal. They weren't evading taxes, they were using the rules. Meanwhile, the middle-class worker doesn't get to deduct commuting costs, childcare, or the fact that they have to buy lunch every day. That's why the wealthy often say, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. 1. Mindset and education gaps. Here's something that might sting. Many of us were simply never taught how money works. Schools rarely teach budgeting, investing, or how credit systems operate. So while wealthy families pass down not just money but mindset, how to think about money, how to grow it, how to protect it, Lower-income families often pass down debt cycles, financial stress, and fear. It's not that one group works harder than the other. It's that one group is given the manual for money, while the other group is told to figure it out as they go. The human side of wealth inequality. This isn't just numbers and policies. This is people. Take Maria, a single mom making $40,000 a year. Nearly half of that goes to rent. Another chunk goes to healthcare and transportation. She's left stretching pennies, maybe saving $50 a month if nothing goes wrong. Now, compare that to Michael, an executive making $400,000. Even after paying for his home, his car, and his lifestyle, he still has enough to invest $100,000 a year into stocks and real estate. That money compounds. Maria is surviving. Michael is compounding. That's the human side of the gap. It's not just about wealth. It's about opportunity. It's about who gets to send their kids to better schools, who gets to retire early, who gets to chase dreams without financial fear. What you can do about it. Okay, so now that we've seen the ugly truth, let's shift to hope. Because here's what I believe. While you might not be able to change government policies overnight, you can change your own playbook. Here's how. 1. Educate yourself. Knowledge is free today in a way it has never been before. Podcasts, YouTube channels, ebooks, financial courses. You can learn the same wealth principles billionaires use without paying a dime. Remember this. Knowledge is free, but ignorance is expensive. A truck driver in the Midwest discovered index funds in his 30s. He invested steadily for decades. When he retired, he was a millionaire. Not because of a lottery win, but because he understood the rules of compounding. 1. Shift from consumer to owner. Every dollar you spend is either building someone else's empire or your own. Think about the iPhone. If you bought the very first iPhone in 2007 for $600, you'd have a cool gadget that's worthless today. But if you had put that $600 into Apple stock instead, today it would be worth tens of thousands. Ask yourself, are you a consumer or an owner? 1. Leverage technology. We live in a time where investing is literally in your pocket. Apps like Robinhood, Acorns, or Fidelity make it easy for anyone to start with just a few dollars. Real estate crowdfunding lets people own pieces of properties. You don't need $1 million anymore. You just need initiative. 1. Build communities of wealth. We're stronger together. Look at Tulsa's Black Wall Street in the early 1900s. An entire community pooled its wealth, building thriving businesses, banks, and schools. It wasn't about one millionaire saving the day. It was about collective progress. Today, investment clubs, online groups, and co-ops are bringing that spirit back. You don't have to walk this journey alone. 1. Teach the next generation. Generational wealth isn't only about money, it's about mindset. Shaquille O'Neal once told his kids, "You're not rich, I'm rich." He wanted them to understand that wealth requires effort, discipline, and responsibility. You can start small with your kids. Create a family bank where they earn interest on money saved. Show them how compound growth works with a jar of pennies. The earlier they learn, the stronger their foundation. Can the gap be closed? Will wealth inequality ever disappear? Probably not completely. But history shows us what happens when the gap gets too wide. Rome collapsed in part because wealth was concentrated in the hands of elites while ordinary citizens struggled. The French Revolution was sparked by the exact same tension. Even today, countries facing extreme inequality often face political unrest and instability. The lesson is clear. If we don't address inequality, societies eventually pay the price. Your golden path forward. But here's the good news. You don't have to wait for systems to change. You can change your system. Financial freedom doesn't start with millions in the bank. It starts with one decision. The decision to stop being a passive participant in the economy and start being an active investor in your future. It's about learning, investing, building, and teaching. It's about shifting from survival mode to wealth mode. So here's the challenge. What's one step you can take today to move from consumer to owner? Is it opening a brokerage account, starting a side hustle, reading a personal finance book, teaching your kids about money? Drop it in the comments below because your words might inspire someone else. Here's the truth. The gap between rich and poor is real, and it's growing. But your personal story doesn't have to be one of struggle. You can build your own golden path to wealth. And remember this, wealth isn't just about money. It's about freedom. It's about choices. It's about waking up every day without the weight of financial stress crushing your spirit. So don't wait. Start now. Your future self and your family will thank you.